Hi, this is Warlow from Business Loan Services and welcome to my Friday Business Finance Bulletin, a weekly roundup of news, tips, ideas and strategies on raising finance and dealing with banks. So what have I got for you this week? Well, to be honest with you, it's a bit of a good news fest. Not much bad news at all good positive news. We're going to be looking at increased confidence levels among small businesses. We're going to be looking at the possibility of a new online bank being launched later on in the year, how businesses are now turning to equity instead of debt to raise money, and also a chat with Dr. Paul Thomas about things businesses need to think about when going into growth. So let's start off with all this good news. A survey from Hitachi Capital, an asset finance provider, out this week, found that 25% of small business owners say they are looking to positively expand their business over the next 3 months. And of those, 38% said that they're specifically targeting an increase in sales. Now that's good news because all of this new investment is more money swirling around the economy generally. And what sectors particularly are being positive? Well, first of all, startups. A lot more confidence amongst startups. We know when it comes to raising finance, it's still really tough for startups to obtain money, but generally they're a lot more confidence. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's all down to confidence to get what you need. In terms of sectors, manufacturing, particularly buoyant. 43% of them said they're looking to grow over the next 3 months. Now, I did say that there's no bad news, but there is one little slither of bad news there. The construction sector, 24% of them saying that they are looking to contract over the next 3 months. So, you know, it's still a bit of a mixed picture when it comes to the recovery. But this good news continues into survey from the Federation of Small Businesses, part of their quarterly Small Business Voice Index. Again, more positive news there. Increased confidence. More businesses reporting higher profits, higher sales, taking on more staff. Bit of a problem of finding staff with the right skills. But more importantly, over the last 3, 4, 5 years or so, the FSB in particular have been very vocal when it comes to access to finance, and quite rightly so. But even they've seen there is some good news. They found from their members that 57% of them said that they got money from banks over the last 3 months. Now that's good news. It compares to about 45% in the same period in 2014. So it just shows that banks are beginning to lend more money. Now, including that figure is money from crowdfunding and peer-to-peer. And as I mentioned in previous videos, you know, many businesses do think they're going to get a no from a bank, so what's the point in approaching? But we are beginning to see much more positivity from the bank in opening the purse strings and letting out. So don't assume you're going to get a no and just not go to the bank. Go out there because your fellow business owners are beginning to see some increased support getting out there. So that's all good news. What about challenger banks? Later on in the year, there's news of a new bank that's currently in the application stage, and it's called Civilised Bank. This is a rather nice name, Civilised Bank. So they're in the process of getting a license and looking to launch at the end of the year. Their model is very much online banking. So they won't have any branches, but where they're going to differ slightly, they are going to have managers on the street, managers pounding the streets, knocking on doors. So they'll have relationship managers out there, but a little old-fashioned banking of having somebody who will look after you on the patch. So it'll be interesting to see how exactly that model works. They're going to be offering all the standard ranges of services that growing businesses need. So watch this bulletin in a couple of months' time when we hopefully have more news on when that launch is coming. Now, funding growth. As we know, many businesses kind of default to debt because they think it's the easiest route. But you know, one growing source of growth funding is equity. But as we know in the UK, we're not very good with the concept of selling shares in our business. We don't like giving up control, and we just think it's just too complicated bringing other people into the business. But the British Business Bank has found that that kind of perception is beginning to change. They took a look at the equity market for small businesses in the UK, and for the first 3 quarters of 2014, so the data's a little bit out of date, but that's all they've got so far, they found that there was a 170% increase in the number of deals done at the smaller end of the market. In terms of amounts raised, an increase of 125%. Now, the British Business Bank, which is an umbrella organisation created by the government to house all of the government scheme, are really wanting now to make sure that all businesses are aware of the benefits of going down the equity route. So they're now going to be pushing out about £400 million that they had from the government in last year's budget for launching a venture equity scheme. They want to raise awareness amongst institutional investors of the great benefits of supporting small businesses when it comes to buying up equity. So you're going to see a bigger push from government to try and get business owners to realise it's not just about debt, it's also about equity as well. Now, my small business tip of the week, my business finance tip of the week. Earlier this week, myself and a few of the Business Loan Services team members took part in a trade show in Swansea run by an organisation called Lead Wales. Now, we do a number of seminars for the Lead Wales programme. It's an entrepreneurship programme held for growing businesses looking for additional support and ideas to help grow. We do a lot of seminars for them, and this week they had a trade show, and to kick off the trade show they had a speaker, Dr. Paul Thomas, talking about growing businesses. Well, I was lucky enough to be able to grab a couple of minutes with Paul before he got on the stage, just to ask him about growth generally and some of the issues that businesses need to be thinking about. So let's go to that clip now.
I think for me, growing companies, it's all about relationships. I think the key is building up a really strong network of trusted people that can advise. I think the second thing for me would be about cash, making sure that the business has cash flow and it's actually supportive of it. Because a lot of people, again, think that money coming in equals good business, but it's not. It's that amount that you have in terms of reserves. And I suppose the third for, again, is trust, is actually getting a group of trusted advisors, a bit like yourself, Bob, in terms of supporting the organisation. And to me, that's key support factors.
How do businesses go around finding where those advisors are, though?
Oh, I think that for me, it's word of mouth. You know, there's a lot of people out there that want to sell you things, and really all they want to do is to take your money and take some of your ideas, perhaps. So it really is about getting somebody you trust. And certainly, you know, Business Wales is a phenomenal network because they have a group of trusted individuals. But really, it's about gut instinct. It's about going out there and making sure, asking about their contacts, the people that they've worked with before, getting real good recommendations.
Yeah, great. Good, thank you very much, Paul.
No worries, thank you.
So thanks to Dr. Paul Thomas for those growth tips there. Paul mentioned Business Wales, and for those of you who are not lucky enough to live in Wales, Business Wales is a business support organisation run by the Welsh Government, and obviously everybody has the equivalent in your area, so hunt them out for support on getting your growth plans together. So that's it for this week. Thanks very much for watching, and as ever, if you did enjoy it, please share this video and the podcast version amongst your friends and your colleagues. So that's it for this week. I look forward to being with you again next Friday. In the meantime, have a great, profitable and successful week ahead. Thanks very much. See you next week.